Hi, everyone. My name is Jill Lebofsky, and I am an executive leader with Young Living Essential Oils. My team is Team Oils 365 because we love to talk oils 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And as crazy as that may seem, it really is true. And I was just really excited today to share a new topic with everybody called hormones, hot flashes, and essential oils. This has really become a hot topic, no pun intended there, among my friends. I'm of that age group right now where I'm entering into perimenopause, and I have a lot of friends who are my age and older. And when I brought up this topic, they were all like, yes, please do a class. So I'm really excited tonight to talk to you a little bit about hormones and what they are, how they work, a little bit about some of the essential oils that can be utilized to help you with some of the um, manage the symptoms of menopause, like hot flashes and so forth. Um, and today we're going to talk about specifically when I'm talking, number one, I'd like everybody to know that I am not a doctor, nor do I claim to be one. Everything that you're going to learn here tonight is of my own research, my own experiences, the experiences of my friends, and I strongly urge you to do your own research and see that what I'm telling you fits with you and make your own informed decision. A great place to do research is at pubmed.gov, and that's got a lot of scientific studies that you can learn all about how essential oils can be utilized for this stage of life. And I'm specifically tonight talking about Young Living essential oils. So please do your research about Young Living essential oils. There are a lot of essential oils out there on the market, and as you're going to learn tonight, they are not all created equally. But I always say, don't take my word for it. Please do your own research, and we'll go from there. So I just want to take a couple of minutes, just to share with you a little bit about my journey. There I am. I entered the health field about 25 years ago, but I have always gravitated towards working with people about age 50 and up, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even when I was in my early 20s. I started out as a speech-language pathologist, and I worked mostly in skilled nursing facilities. And my job at that time was to teach people who had suffered from things like stroke or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's disease and other brain disorders that would affect their ability to communicate and to eat and to swallow their food safely. And although being in skilled nursing, a lot of my clientele were 75 and up, which really isn't all that old. I've got plenty of friends that age who run circles around me, that's for sure. But it was particularly heartbreaking when a person in their 50s or even their 40s, I had clients who would come in with one of these, disorders or something that, brain infarcts and things that had happened to their brain. And they would be unable to talk without slurring their words. They might not even be able to talk. They would be on feeding tubes, and they would be unable to hold down jobs maybe because of memory issues. And within a few years, I quickly realized that I really wanted to be on the preventative side of health, teaching people how to prevent these things from happening before they happen. Because once they happen, it really can devastate a family, and I've seen that firsthand. And I always say there are kind of two kinds of older people, and I want to be the healthy, active kind, and that starts by taking care of ourselves along the way, not waiting until it's too late. As a Weight Watchers leader, I started 12 years ago, and from there I became a Pilates instructor about 9 years ago. And I'm one to always kind of follow my passions, and from that I kind of decided to go and get my health coaching certification about 5 years ago. I have grown to really love working with women, empowering them and supporting them. And most of my clientele is in their perimenopause to menopause stage of life. And myself now at 47, I am getting to experience some of this wonderful, wonderful change. And over the years, I've had many, many clients warn me about this, about the night sweats, the brain fog, the wanting to kill their families at times. And I don't know what's wrong with my family these days. It's got to be them, not me, I'm sure. But they also shared during this time of life, especially because I was working with them on their, as a health coach on their weight and as a Pilates instructor with their exercise, many of them would come to me and say, I've always been thin, or I've always been a certain weight, and I'm not doing anything different. I'm eating the same. But what I've learned at this time of life, our bodies are changing in every way, physically, emotionally, and hormonally. And that weight comes on because we need to do things a little bit differently. Also, one of my closest friends who's 74, she told me that this is the time of your life where all the crap that you've stuffed down comes up and forces you to deal. But she also said this was the most freeing time of her life. For many of us right now, we're in the throes of those years of raising their families, building our careers, volunteering our time in our community. And we haven't really left any time for ourselves. But this time of life is starting to bring a lot of change. Many of my friends, my kids are in high school or in middle school, but many of my friends' kids are leaving home. Some of them, their husbands are starting to retire and be around all the time. For many people, they have aging parents that they're starting to take care of. And unfortunately, I've also have many people who I've seen starting to go through divorce at this time of their life. They're trying to figure out who they are and starting over all over again. And then when you add to this not sleeping, sweating your boobs off, dragging all day long, and just feeling completely unsexy, I think it just really proves how strong us women are. That somehow we manage to just do all of this. But sometimes we need help, and it's asking for help that's really important. Ironically, my 12-year-old daughter just started her period a few months ago, and I just love the full circle of that. Hers beginning as mine is starting to slow down. I want her to experience her experiences of womanhood to be positive, healthy ones. And that really starts now, teaching her how to live chemical-free, learning how to love to move her body, her positive body image, and just really thinking she rocks, because she totally does. And I can't go back in time and give you all that gift, which I really wish that I could. And I'm lucky that I've had a lot of women in my life who have helped build me up, for sure. But what I can give you is a different gift. And that's kind of the education to take matters into your own hand, your health, both physical and emotional. And I recently finished a specialty health coaching certification that would specifically address the perimenopause and menopausal women and supporting them with their nutrition and their exercise. And because, of course, I love my essential oils and they're just a huge part of my life and they just permeate everything that I do, I'm going to be focusing on incorporating them into this period of life as well. I'll be working on more classes and programs in the very near future. My brain is actually exploding with ideas that I hope to get to and finish up this summer and be able to present to everybody this fall. But tonight's class is going to be specifically about essential oils and hormones and managing the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So starting off a little bit more background on essential oils, and specifically, as I mentioned earlier, Young Living essential oils. And then we'll get into hormones and addressing some specific issues. So what are essential oils? Well, essential oils are the life force of the plant. They come from trees, flowers, bushes. They are what protects and heals it in nature. I live in Palm City, Florida, and here in Florida, we have these horrific storms, especially this time of year, where the rains just come and just pummel the trees and the plants and the flowers. And then just as quickly as it comes in, the skies clear up and the sun comes back out. And these plants have not only survived, but they're thriving. And the reason for that is the oil of the plant. It's what keeps it alive in nature. And it is essential to the plant or it will die. Thus, that's why they call it an essential oil. And essential oils are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, which is the same building blocks as us. So many aromatherapists and essential oil educators as myself believe that how the oil of the plant helps the plant to protect and heal it in nature, it can do the same thing for us. Only though when it is carefully extracted from all parts of the plant, and as we get into a little bit further, into that you're using a high quality essential oil. Then it can help to support our physical, our emotional, our spiritual, our hormonal, and our sexual health. As I said earlier, all oils are not created equally. There has definitely been this explosion of essential oils on the market. You can walk into just about anywhere these days, it seems, Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, and find essential oils. But it's really important to know about what those essential oils and where they come from. There are 4 different grades of essential oils, A, B, C, and D. Grade A is what I'm going to be talking about tonight, and that's what Young Living essential oils are, and those are therapeutic grade essential oils, the highest purity essential oils out there. They have not been adulterated. They have no chemicals added to them. They were used in soils that weren't used with any pesticides. They're the highest quality, purest essential oil that you can find. Knowing your essential oils, there are many, and if you know anything about labeling, if you're familiar with food labeling, a lot of it can be deceptive, and the same thing with essential oils. They can label oils pure, organic, natural, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every single thing in that bottle is pure, natural, or even organic, if you're to learn a little bit more about what the organic labeling is. So it's really important to know the source of your oil. Where does your oil come from? That's why I chose to use Young Living essential oils. There are Young Living essential oils. There are 11 farms that you can visit all around the world. And when I say visit, any time of the day, you can walk in and you can see the entire process from when they plant the seeds. You can even participate in the process until they seal that bottle. And I love the fact that, excuse me, I'm going to go back just one, hold on a second. I love the fact that I can just, at any point go in and ask questions and see where my essential oils are coming from. So when you're looking at your essential oils and you're deciding between essential oils, is that something, do you know where they're coming from? Are they using the highest quality of plants, of so forth? And Young Living farms, they adhere to what's called the seed to seal promise. And somebody asked me the other day, are they organic? And actually the seed to seal promise that Young Living has and that they've put into place is even better than organic. It's even more strict than the regulations of organic. Without going into the whole process in detail, just for a couple little details, all of the soil is from pristine soil that has not been used any pesticides. It comes from non-GMO, first heirloom seeds. All of their plants are cultivated at the right time, which means they're planted at the right time, they're picked at the right time of day, at the right time of the year. They are all then distilled with low steam or citrus press if the citruses are cold pressed, and that's really important to keep the benefits of the essential oil intact so that it does what you want it to do. And then they're tested both in-house, and then they're sent out to labs, the top labs all around the world, to be tested for purity. And then from there, they are sealed right there on the farm, and then they're shipped directly to your home. So it's really important when you're talking about Young Living essential oils that you buy them directly from a Young Living distributor so that you know that what you're getting from Young Living and what they say is in their bottles are in their bottles. And that can be guaranteed. So there are 3 different ways that you can use essential oils. Most people are most familiar with using them aromatically. And again, this kind of goes back to this purity of the essential oils. And I hate to harp on this, but when we're talking about using our essential oils for our hormones, I think it's really, really important if we're trying to help our body that we know where our essential oils come from. So most essential oils, if you were to get them at the nutrition store or Walmart and you flip them over, they will say for aromatic use only. Do not ingest, and do not use topically. In Young Living essential oils, we can use all 3 ways. And I always like to think about, if it says lemon oil, and it says that I cannot use it topically, or I cannot ingest lemon oil, then what the heck is in that lemon oil if it's not 100% pure extracting, of the lemon essential oil? And my question is, if I cannot ingest it and I cannot use it topically, then most likely there's been something added to that. And why in the world would I want to inhale that same essential oil? They are, so the ways that you can use your essential oil aromatically is through inhalation, is that you can use them through a diffuser, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, but through a cold air diffuser, you can use a machine. You can use jewelry, any kind of porous substance like pottery clay, unfinished, or leather, or cork, or lava beads can be used. And it's really, I love to wear my essential oil necklace with things like joy on them, things that make me happy during the day, stress away, oils that really can enhance my mood throughout the day. Because that's probably one of my biggest symptoms I've noticed as I start to enter this period is my mood fluctuations. You can also open up the bottle and smell directly from the bottle. And then I know a lot of women at this time of life, time of age or age, whatever, they have a lot of troubles going to sleep or sleeping. So you can make a little spray bottle with some lavender oil and spray it on your pillow like a little linen spray to help you go to sleep. Another way that you can use your essential oils, and it's the way that I love to use my essential oils the most, is topically. You can use them on your neck, behind your ears, your wrists, your feet. If you know anything about reflexology, actually your feet, your hands, and your ears, all those points of the on your feet correspond to parts of your body, so you can use them on your feet. And I like to do that especially with oils I may not like the smell of. I put them on my feet. They also absorb the oils very quickly in that area. You always want to dilute your oils. Young Living essential oils are very, very potent. When we talk about using Young Living essential oils, we're usually talking using 1, maybe 2 drops. And the carrier oil, Young Living, our essential oils absorb into the skin very, very quickly. And if you didn't have a carrier oil on them, it would be hard to spread them. So a carrier oil is anything that is a fat-based oil, like I love to use coconut oil, but jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, almond oil, olive oil are all great carrier oils. And it helps the essential oil to spread if you have a large area you want to use them on, as well as it helps to make your essential oils last longer, of course, making that even more affordable. The third way that you can use essential oils is through ingestion. So again, only Young Living essential oils I'm talking about. Do your research on any other essential oils. I do feel comfortable using essential oils because of their seed to seal promise. And I personally have visited the Young Living essential oils farms, and so I have seen the process up close personal. So I definitely love to ingest my essential oils, although it's not, again, my favorite way, but I do that. When I do, it's always in glass or stainless steel. The essential oils are very potent, and they will actually pull the toxins from the plastic. And if you're going to be drinking your oils, why would you want to have toxins in your drink? So definitely use glass or stainless steel. I do use the essential oils a lot with my smoothies and cooking. And then you can also put the essential oils in vegetable capsules you can just buy on Amazon. Open them up, empty capsules, and put 3 or 4 drops of essential oil and top it off with a carrier oil and use it that way. And then you can also just directly use it in your mouth. Frankincense is a wonderful spiritual oil. It's a wonderful grounding oil. It's a wonderful oil, wonderful for just overall health. And I love just to take a drop and just put it on the roof of my mouth. So all different ways that you can use your essential oils. And I mentioned diffusers earlier, and I wanted just to spend an extra little moment here. And these are some of these diffusers that Young Living has to offer. And when you get started with Young Living with a premium starter kit, they do give you the choice of the home diffuser, the dewdrop diffuser, the raindrop, which is the rainstone, excuse me, at the bottom in black, and then the beautiful aria in the center. When you get started with Young Living essential oils, they give you your choice of one of those 4 diffusers. The aria and the rainstone are a little bit added cost to them, but all 4 of them are wonderful and work great. And why I like people to start with essential oils is sometimes topical or even ingestion is a little intimidating for people. So utilizing a diffuser is a great way to introduce the essential oils into your family's life. And they also, as I mentioned earlier, that family can sometimes seem really annoying this time of year, this time of life, I should say. So having the essential oils going in the diffuser and putting, again, some oils that we'll talk about later, but I love to use oils like Stress Away or Peace and Calming or Joy in the diffuser really helps to set the mood for everybody in the house. So that is our Young Living diffusers. And they just use water and essential oils. Young Living is not just about essential oils, and that's really what I love about them. I mentioned earlier that I plan to do classes that are going to talk about nutrition and exercise and all different topics on essential oils and, on hormones and menopause and perimenopause. And Young Living, being a whole health company, offers products that can support us in all areas like that. They have things that can support us in our weight, in getting rid of toxins, and supplements. and even in foods, even keeping our pets healthy free, which is always nice. Young Living has over 200 essential oils and essential oil blends. They have over 200 oil and always adding oil-infused products. And they recently, oh, I must have that out of place, but there I am at the Young Living Essential Oil lavender field out in Mona, Utah. And, oh my goodness, I'm skipping all around a little bit. I do apologize. I guess somehow my slides got out of order, not quite sure how. But real quick here, I guess I'll kind of quickly go back real quickly here. How the essential oils work when you inhale an essential oil. They take 22 seconds from inhaling essential oil. You have an emotional response. And they also stimulate the pituitary gland, which is responsible for hormones. And I think that's really important. So as we were just talking a moment, even though they're out of order, I guess this is good because when you have them in the diffuser and you go ahead and you inhale an essential oil, it's going to also stimulate that pituitary gland. So it's going to start to work on your hormones as well. When you inhale or apply oil topically, within 2 minutes, it gets into your bloodstream. Within 20 minutes, it's reached all parts of all the cells of our body. And essential oils are not Band-Aids and quick fixes. They affect change at the cellular level. So when we're talking about hormones, it's not just to use an oil for a hot flash. It's to really address the underlying issues that hot flash is manifesting as, so that we can have long-term results. And then within about 3 to 4 hours, the body has metabolized the oil and excreted it. If you've gotten rid of it, so you want to reapply your oils every 3 to 4 hours. I think this next one might be out of order too. It is. All right, that's good though. We'll keep going. Go with the flow with technology. I at least finally got the recording going. So there is a little bit of science behind essential oils, and I like people to know that they're this just a little bit. So essential oils are made up of constituents, and this really shows you how powerful these essential oils can be. Each drop of oil has millions of molecules, and some of the most prominent ones are our phenols, which help to detoxify our cells and clean our receptor sites so that we can have better communication. And that's really important, as we're going to talk about in a few minutes, about toxins and how they clog up our cells. So phenols are going to be a really good, important part of helping our cell communication. Next are sesquiterpenes, which erase our bad DNA. So things that like obesity and diabetes and heart disease are a result of things that have our lifestyle, and they have actually they've actually changed our DNA. So sesquiterpenes help to erase this bad DNA, and a lot of our trauma and our emotional trauma is stored deep down. We talked about that stuff I mentioned in the beginning, kind of boiling up to the surface, a lot of our emotions and things we've stuffed down. And essential oils can help release this emotional trauma that's also written on our DNA. So once we've detoxified ourselves and we've erased this bad DNA, then of course we want to reprogram our cells with monoterpenes, which are found in most essential oils. So essential oils, again, not a quick fix. They are really powerful way of using nature to help heal your body. So I'm excited to see what the next slide is. All right, hormones. So I guess we're moving on to hormones. So let's talk hormones. They are a regulatory substance produced in an organism and transported in tissue fluids such as blood to stimulate specific cells or tissues into action. So this is really important. These hormones, basically, they tell specific cells what to do, but the function of one hormone is dependent on the function of all the other hormones in the body. So if one is out of whack, the rest of them are going to be out of whack. Some of the perimenopausal hormones are estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, and adrenal. And that's a lot of things to talk about, and tonight's already going to be pretty intense. So we're going to just talk about estrogen and progesterone, but do know that other hormones are affecting they're affecting that. That's where some of our symptoms are coming from. And in future classes, I will address those other issues. But tonight we're going to talk specifically about estrogen and progesterone. So estrogen. Estrogen is produced mainly in the ovaries, but it's also found in small amounts in the liver, the adrenal glands, and the breasts. And this is really important when you're past menopause because we start to slow down in our production of estrogen as we age. And so these secondary sources become particularly important so that we can maintain balance. Estrogen is also produced in fat cells, but that is not the good kind of estrogen. Estrogen refers to a specific group of hormones. I always thought it was just estrogen was like a hormone, but it actually refers to a specific group of hormones, and it's responsible for over 400 functions in the female body. So what that tells me is that estrogen is pretty darn important as to what's going on to me, and that I better know about it, and I better be making sure that my estrogen levels are right where they need to be, because over 400 functions is a lot. Some other forms of estrogen that are out there are equine or estrogen, which is urine of pregnant horses, which are found in many things. Many times people use Premarin or Prempack C, and that is the, flip over and read your label, it's the urine of pregnant horses. I make your own decisions about that. So that's something I definitely would not want to be using though. Synthetic forms of estrogen are things that are used like in birth control to control irregular cycles, but they are definitely too potent if you are past menopause, so please be careful of that. Today we're going to be talking about phytoestrogens, which are plant-based estrogens, which essential oils would come from, plants, herbs, spices. And then xenoestrogens, which come from petrochemicals, and they are the bad ones. They are the ones that we want to avoid. And when you are low in estrogen, these are some of the fluctuations that you might see. You might see some changes in your skin. A lot of people talk about the hormonal breakouts, like when they were a teenager. Their lubrication diminishes, their memory, like total brain fog, decreased bone production. One of my classes, bone health is so important this time of life. You really, really is. And you have decreased bone production, so it's really important to keep that, your bones strong to avoid fractures. People have, of course, hot flashes, night sweats, decreased libido. And then people also will have excess estrogen. And the reason for this is because a lot of times it's because of that bad estrogen that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And some symptoms of estrogen, excess estrogen, are headaches, recurrent yeast infections, nausea, leg cramps. And also, this excess estrogen is related to the amount of progesterone circulating through the body. So if you're low on progesterone, then your estrogen is going to be a lot higher, because again, the hormones depend upon each other. So why would we have this excess of estrogen? As I mentioned a second ago, it's because of all of these toxics that we are exposed to. By 8 a.m., you have been exposed to over 200 chemicals. And really, if you start to think about it, it really is true. We wake up in sheets we've washed in detergent. We get up and brush our teeth. We put on makeup. We shampoo. We maybe microwave our food. Then we go and we drive to work with all the pollution and so forth. And the root of so many of our female hormone issues are petrochemicals. They are also, you can find petrochemicals, and this is something I hadn't really thought about until I started kind of getting into this kind of line of work, but they're also in things like our condoms, our tampons, our personal lubricants we use, things that we're putting inside of us. And vaginal membranes, they absorb faster than even the skin. So what are petrochemicals? Well, they are the petroleum-based products that are found in things like our plastics, our aspirin, our carpeting, things like detergents, fertilizer, our milk containers, pantyhose, perfumes, our contacts lenses, rubber, wax. I mean, when the list goes on, they're really unavoidable to some degree. And what do? Well, they are endocrine disruptors, and our endocrine system is our hormonal system, and so they mess with our hormones. Petrochemicals, they are fat soluble. So what happens is they lodge in our fat cells, and they just sit there and they store these toxins. So when I talk about when women come to me and they say, I've put on this weight and I can't get it off, a lot of times it's, I say that when you're putting junk and crap into your body, like, food, like processed foods and over-the-counter medicines and things like this into our bodies, when your fat cells filling up with toxins and they swell. And when they swell, you swell. And they totally mess up our cellular communication. They block our cells from being able to talk and communicate properly so that our body can perform at its best. And these toxin-filled cells aren't even needed to stay alive. They just literally sit there and stay in our body until we detoxify them in some way. So I always say when you're getting ready to start a healthy living program, it's really important. And if we're talking about, with our hormones specifically, and you want to start, start off right, I recommend doing some kind of detoxification. Young Living has a really great one that I love, but there are other great ones out there on the market. But definitely do something that's going to detoxify your liver, detoxify your cells, so that they can start already to be communicating and helping you out. So these petrochemicals that are specific to women specifically, that really are worst one, are called xenoestrogens. And xenoestrogens are basically fake synthetic estrogen. They have a chemical structure like estrogen, and therefore they act like estrogen in our body. So our toxin-filled fat cells are just sitting there in our body, hanging out. They don't know what to do. So what do? They tell our body to start creating estrogen, which then creates that estrogen dominance, or just too much estrogen, and creates all those symptoms I mentioned just a few minutes ago. So they really can wreak havoc on our body in a big, big way. Here's a list of some things that happen with that estrogen dominance. Insomnia, decreased libido, fibroids, cysts, cancer, headaches, fatigue. I mean, these aren't small little things. And I look at these kind of things and I think, wow, if I am feeling all of these things, how can I really be there for my family, be there for my coworkers, be functioning at my best when all this stuff is going on and I don't even know it? It's really just these toxins that are wreaking havoc on my body. All right, so now I seem to be going, so how can we reduce our exposure to these petrochemicals? Because I think this is really, really important. And I mentioned earlier on that Young Living has these oil-infused products, and they are all chemical-free, plant-based, and ways that can help our body. And I love the fact that they are oil infused, because when you infuse products with essential oils, they make them more bioavailable, more readily absorbable, more usable, so that your body can really utilize those products the way they're meant to. Young Living has an entire line of essential oils called the Thieves line. I love the Thieves line of products. They're basically all made up of, they're infused with the Thieves essential oil. Thieves essential oil is cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, and lemon. And it's our big oil for immune support. And it's also a big oil that's an antibacterial oil, a disinfectant. And it's found in so many of their household cleaning products. Talking about all those petrochemicals, I mean, they are in, like I was mentioning, all of our cleaning products, all of our shampoos, our personal products. And with Young Living, they have a household cleaner. That bottle there that you're seeing, that with one capful, and it can fill up a 24-ounce bottle, and you can get 38 of those bottles. And it can replace everything, and I mean everything. It can replace your glass cleaner, your carpet cleaner, your counter cleaner, your toilet cleaner. One bottle can replace it all. So also kind of, reducing our mark on the environment as well, which is also very nice. And it's completely plant-based. But they also have toothpastes, mouthwash, hand soaps and toothpaste, some of the worst things out there in terms of what they are chemical filled with. And many, as you're seeing lately on the news, are actually taking some of these products off the market. But they have laundry detergent, they have dish detergent. So it's a wonderful line. And then Young Living just had their convention a couple of weeks ago in June, and they released their new makeup line. This is totally huge. And I really started thinking about this because I am not a makeup person, but makeup is really a huge part of a lot of women's lives. And that to be said, I wear some makeup. I wear blush and I wear eyeliner and I wear mascara every day. So, and when I get dressed up, I'll put on a little foundation, and some eyeshadow and maybe even some lip gloss. But, my daughter, who's 12 turning 13, is just starting to kind of explore makeup, and she loves makeup. And I started thinking to myself, don't I want to start her off right? I mean, in our household, we eat pretty well, and, we've reduced a lot of the toxins in our products, and I certainly give her all of these, toxin-less products, things that are good for her. So why would I want to go and buy her junk over at, CVS or Walmart that's just junk-filled makeup that she's going to then, of course, many of us have been using makeup since we were 13 years old, and maybe we're 40, 50, 60, all those years putting all of that on our face. So I'm excited about their makeup line. And then I also wanted to put in here their new line that they released, which was their baby line of things. And the reason why, what baby line, when we're actually talking about, stopping our periods. But I think about this, and a lot of us are maybe grandmothers, and when we care for our newborns and our grandkid babies that we love so much, we want to, number one, of course, be using what's best for them and toxin-free, and we don't want to be putting any harsh chemicals on them. But of course, when you're using diaper rash cream or lotions, wipes, they're all going on you as well. And even if your own daughters who are raising these babies and so forth, you don't want to expose them. So I thought the Seedlings line, it really does kind of all play into the whole womanhood and our whole timeline of life and the different stages we go into, and really how important it is starting from the very beginning to go toxin free. So much of what I was learning about hormones, actually what's going on in my body now, started from when I was a child and the things that I was doing, and when, unfortunately people didn't know better. But I always say, once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. You can either decide not to do anything about it or choose to make a change. And, someone like myself, I can only just, give you my experiences, my education, but if you want to make the change, only you can really, do that, and, and start to do your own research and start to, go into your cabinets, flip over your bottles, read labels, and decide whether that's what you want to have in your household anymore or not. Okay, soapbox over, moving on. So back to hormones, progesterone. So progesterone is produced primarily by the ovaries, both before and after menopause. But it's also produced by the brain and the peripheral nerves. And if you've been pregnant ever, that they talk about when we kind of get loosey-goosey all in the hips, right, to let that baby be able to come on through, our supportive ligaments in our back and our knees and our pelvis start to relax and loosen. That's because we have progesterone going through us, high levels. Now, this is important, I think, in terms of menopause. Progesterone is made from cholesterol, fats, and oils, which are required for its production. So therefore, your nutrition is very important. So those diets out there that are telling you to avoid fats, avoid certain oils out there, that is really, in my opinion, wrong, because, it's what kind of fats, what kind of oils, what kind of, moderation are we using? But proper nutrition is really important. And there are specific foods that can actually help with menopausal symptoms that I will be teaching about in the future. But start doing your research on that. And our bodies have a very high tolerance for for progesterone. It is very rare to have excess progesterone, but it can happen, especially when you're using synthetic progesterone. And depression can be a common side effect of synthetic progesterone, something like Provera. So some symptoms of low progesterone are, if you're still getting your period, PMS, irregular or excessive periods, anxiety and nervousness, there we go, fibromyalgia, mood swings, that brain fog, weight gain. Just look at the list. Do you fall anywhere on there? You might be low in progesterone. Because the truth is that most women are low in progesterone. And in a little bit, I'm going to talk about an oil specifically for that. But most women out there are low in progesterone. Even those women who think that they're doing all the right things, it really is important to get your hormones tested and determine what's going on with your body. But when we talk about all the concerns there, and there are many, as I've listed here already, both for low in estrogen, high in estrogen, low in progesterone, high in progesterone. But of the ones that we're going to talk about tonight, because they're the ones that, during perimenopause and menopause that have come up for most women that seem to have, are the hot flashes, low libido, and vaginal dryness. But let's not forget things like trouble sleeping, weight gain, depression, emotional baggage. Not to discount those, but tonight we're going to talk about these three. So now we're going to get into the meat of things here. So the first oil is Clary Sage, and I love my Clary Sage. It is probably become one of my most favorite oils. And what Clary Sage does is it stimulates the pituitary gland, which regulates the ovulatory and sexual hormone function. Clary Sage itself is a phytoestrogen, so it is a plant-based estrogen. So Clary Sage itself is an estrogen. It is considered an estrogen-like because of its sclereol content. And sclereol is I'm going to later on in there, I'm going to talk about two oils that are essential oil blends that Gary Young created that have that sclereol content in it. And Clary Sage mimics the effects of natural estrogen. So we mentioned those xenoestrogens mimicking estrogen, but being bad for us because they were causing our body to create estrogen dominance, creating our body to produce estrogen when we didn't need it. Well, this Clary Sage is completely different. It does mimic the effect of natural estrogen, but only if there is an estrogen deficiency. It does not produce it if estrogen is normal. So therefore, it will not create that estrogen dominance. So it's going to give us the boost that we need, but it is not going to tip the scale and give us too much. It will stimulate the body to produce its own estrogen. So in time, as I mentioned earlier, these essential oils aren't quick fixes. They are healing our body at the cellular level. So in time with using Clary Sage, your body is going to start to level off, get back into balance, and function properly, and produce its own estrogen in the right levels again. And it balances our hormones. Let's see what else. Women feel naturally more in the mood when their estrogen levels are high. So if your libido is lacking, it probably means your estrogen levels are not where they need to be. They are at their highest when you're ovulating. So, that makes sense because you're more in the mood when you're fertile. That's when that's when they want you to be more in the mood. As we age, though, those estrogen levels drop. So sometimes our libido does. And not for every woman. Know that these are not blanket statements. But for a lot of women, this does happen. And Clary Sage can help with this. We can apply it to our neck, our forearms. Our forearms are a great place. The skin there is very thin. You can inhale it, or you can diffuse it in your diffuser with orange or Lang Lang, two of my favorites to diffuse Clary Sage with to get in the mood. And I do a whole class on sex and oils that you can use to before, during, after to get you in the mood. And I found that, it was interesting. I'm kind of a TMI girl, so I have no problem talking about sex and periods and things like that. But in my time, I've discovered not everybody is as comfortable with that as I am. And I think it's really, really important. Like when I decided to do this class, friends would never talk to me about essential oils, and I've been doing essential oils now for 3 years. I've been sharing them with people and using them, and friends who have never talked to me about them came out of the woodwork to say, oh, you can use oils for that? Tell me about that. And, when it came to the topic of menopause, and we got to be able to start talking about that and talking about sex and oils. So I think it's really important to have an outlet and people to share with this time of life. All the women in my family, unfortunately, had cancers of some sort in their younger years. And although my mom and my sister are survivors, my mom, never went through menopause naturally. Neither did my grandmother, my aunt. And so I really have nothing to go on. I don't have anybody else to kind of look to see how they went through it. So I think it's really important to have a support network of women who are going through it, who have been through it, to learn from and share with. So let me flip to here. So the first oil that I wanted to talk about was Progestin Plus. Many women second oil is Progestin Plus. And Progestin Plus is a nice, what I consider complement to the Clary Sage. I love to use these two oils together. But Young Living makes an oil blend called Progestin Plus, and it was created by a Dr. Dan Purser, who specializes in women's hormonal issues. And when he tested women, he found that almost every woman who came to him had low to no progesterone at all, which is needed for our libido and for our overall wellness. And production decreases as we age and after childbirth. And when it drops, our sex drive drops as well. So what is Progestin Plus? It is a natural progesterone booster. And Progestin Plus uses essential oils as well as wild yam extract. And if you know anything, let me see if I have a slide on this. I do. So it uses wild yam. And if you know anything about wild yam, it is a natural progesterone. And it is really important for getting that balance, but we want to make sure that we're using a natural derivative. So it also contains vitamin E and essential oils like frankincense and bergamot and peppermint. I mentioned frankincense for your overall wellness. I use every single day. Bergamot is a nice citrus oil, detoxifying oil. Detoxifying. And then peppermint oil, we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'm going to tell you what that one's for yet. You can wait and see, but that's another great oil. So to know that all three of those are in the Progestin Plus is a plus. Haha. It helps with our libido, PMS, our hot flashes, our night sweats, migraines, and depression. So in addition to our libido, you can use it for all of those things. I like to take a drop and put one drop on my carotid arteries, and I put the Clary Sage usually on my forearms. And it's good for daily use, they say, if you're over 40. A lot of people I know just use it as their daily perfume, but it is a natural progesterone. So please, like anything, watch yourself with all of the oils, but definitely with this Progestin Plus. Notice what's going on with your body and monitor that. And you may want to only use the Progestin Plus every other day. These essential oils are very powerful. They are living things. The essential oils, just like food interacts with our body, so some people, gluten doesn't do well with them, or dairy doesn't do well with them. Well, but it works, but other people can, love their milk. So it's the same with essential oils. It works with your body, depending upon what's going on with your body. So they work differently for everybody. So please pay attention to what is going on when you use your essential oils, and definitely with this Progestin Plus. All right. So going right along with our low libido, a lot of women suffer vaginal dryness. This is definitely the TMI girl sharing, but definitely one of my main symptoms that I am having. And one of the women in my class described it as the Sahara Desert down there. And I get what she's talking about. And for any of you who are experiencing it, you probably are noticing the same thing, right? Sex is uncomfortable, it may be painful, and that's because we have low estrogen levels. Therefore, there's insufficient lubrication in our cervix, which leads to inflammation and thinning of the vaginal walls. So things that you can do naturally just to avoid this dryness: you can avoid synthetic material in your underwear. Cotton underwear is good. You can avoid scented and harsh soaps. So those Young Living makes bar soaps as well as, which are wonderful, as well as body soaps. You can do, here's my Pilates girl coming through, but you can do pelvic exercises. Kegels are a great exercise to do. And real quick plug for the Kegel. When you do a Kegel, you want to feel like you want to close the opening like you're closing around a pea, let's say, and then you want to go like a green pea. And then you want to pull in and up like you're stopping the stream of urine. So the correct way to do a Kegel is to close the opening of the vagina and then pull in and up like you're stopping the stream of urine. Another thing to do, you just need to tell your partner that you need some more time before foreplay. Sometimes at 9 o'clock, it's like my husband and I are, looking and giving each other a look, and it's time to go to the bedroom. And by 9:02, he's ready, and 9:02 ain't gonna cut it for me. I need, you might need a little bit more time for foreplay. And then you also want to use a natural synthetic free lubricant. And I would like to talk about this for one quick second, because if we're talking about vaginal dryness, we do want to do something to lubricate it. We don't want to just avoid sex altogether, but we want to make it comfortable and fun for everybody. And when I started thinking and looking at labels and seeing what was in the lubricants, OMG, I was not happy. I even went to one of those sex toy parties, and I felt the need to buy something. So I bought their vegan lubricant, and even that I flipped over, and what was in it, yuck. So vaginas are mucous membranes that secrete and absorb fluids faster than skin. So does the clitoris, the vulva, and the urethra. So this is telling me, I mentioned tampons and condoms, lubricants go along with that. If that mucous membrane absorbs faster than even our skin, what are we putting inside us is very, very important. Most lubricants contain nasty chemicals that can cause damage to our vaginal tissues, can increase risk for bacterial vaginosis and sexually transmitted diseases. And I used to get yeast infections. Here goes my TMI again, but I used to get yeast infections all the time. And then I just went and that's kind of right there. It says it disrupts the women's internal pH. That's and beneficial microbes. And that's definitely what was happening to me. And coconut oil is a great choice. And that's really what I've been using for years and years and years now. And when I got introduced to essential oils, we now add essential oils to the coconut oil. But good thing to know, it will, if you are using condoms, sometimes it will break down latex condoms. So please use something else. I always say, nobody's getting pregnant on Jill's watch. Jill did not say use coconut oil if you're using condoms, so please know that. So other natural lubricants that you can use are pure aloe vera gel, olive oil, flaxseed oil. You can add essential oils, as I mentioned, and we make a wonderful oil called Sensation Oil. A lot of some great oils you can add to that. Vitamin E oil, almond oil, even distilled water will work. Young Living does have their own, it's not a lubricant, it's a massage oil, but we use it as a lubricant that has already got the Sensation essential oil infused into it. It's a combination of coconut, grapeseed, almond oil, that's the carrier in it. It's combined with a Sensation blend, which is ylang ylang, geranium, bergamot, coriander, and jasmine. It's very floral smell, and it just is intoxicating, and it definitely gets you in the mood, and it works well on him, on you. It makes everything nice and easy. But Clary Sage, going back to Clary Sage, also stimulates the natural production of lubrication. So you can just take your Clary Sage and apply it to your inner thigh or 2 inches below your navel, and that can help to start increasing your natural lubrication production. Some people will also just like to take it orally, so you can put a drop or 2 and top it off, the capsule off with some olive oil and ingest the Clary Sage. But here it is again, Jill's disclaimer, we're not getting pregnant on Jill's watch. Clary Sage may make you more fertile. So if you are still getting your period, you're still in that stage, be mindful that you are using some kind of sexual protection if you are using Clary Sage and do not want to get pregnant. So the hot flash protocol. So let's talk about hot flashes first. So what are they? Well, you probably don't even care what they are. They're just hot. That's all you want to know. But really what they are is a quick sensation of heat that pulsates through our body. it's the blood vessels that are coming to the surface to cool, and that causes the surge in heat. And it can make many, many women very unhappy. This is a huge area for many women. Myself, I'm more the night sweats, which kind of goes all along with the same thing. I don't flash too much during the day, but nighttime is hard for me. And one of my really good friends, Dr. Kelly Meredith, she's a chiropractor, and she was trying all of these different, both chemical, synthetic, and natural things to help her manage her hot flashes. She would come into my Pilates studio, and she'd get on my reformer, and it would just be insane, having to get up and and breathe and splash water on her face. And when she was finally introduced, and I introduced her to the essential oils, she tried different combinations, and she found a combination that worked for her. Now, I'm going to go over what the protocol that worked for Dr. Kelly is. It's worked for many of my friends. This is the protocol that I use, and it's working for me. That being said, it hasn't worked for some of my friends as well. Again, the essential oils work differently for everybody, so you need to play around maybe with how much you're using, the frequency you're using, and even the oils. But I do find that this protocol is a great protocol for it's a good place to start for everybody, because it really addresses estrogen, progesterone, but it also addresses things that we haven't talked about today, but like your thyroid, cortisol, and the adrenals. There's 3 oils in her protocol, and one of them is called Endogize. And I think I'll talk about Endogize in just a little bit, or Endoflex, I'm sorry, but I'll talk about Endoflex in a little bit. But here's her protocol. So she starts off with Clary Sage, and she puts a drop on her collarbone and then inside both arms, and then also on the inside and the outside of both of the ankles. So I mentioned earlier about reflexology and all the points of your body corresponding to parts of your feet and foot corresponding to parts of your body. Well, the ankle, that's our whole hormonal or sexual center, is all in that area. So it's a good place to put that. And then she takes this Endoflex, which is an essential oil that Young Living carries, that is great for support of the thyroid and the adrenals. And she puts it right on the thigh, right there down the middle of her throat. And I have not yet tried the Endoflex. That is on my list. Right now I'm using just the Clary Sage and the Progestin Plus, and it's working great, but it is my intention to add that as well. And I do suggest starting with all 3 of them. I just happen to have the other 2 on hand, so I just started with those when I started. But Endoflex definitely is going to be on my list in the near future. The Progestin Plus, you just need 1 drop. In just 1 drop, put it on the side. So I can just line it again, kind of down my carotid artery, 1 drop, back to the arms and the ankles, and my finger over the bottle, maybe around my ankles. For all those oils, the Endoflex, you just need 1 drop. The Clary Sage and the Progestins, depending upon if you are going to put it all over, you might need a 2nd drop for your ankles. But really, these, try to make them last. They are potent. You don't need 5, 6, 7 drops at all, and I highly recommend not doing that. Also, you consider adding a few drops to a tissue or a napkin, and you can inhale it. And this allows the essential oil, as I said earlier, 22 seconds. It goes through your nose and goes in through your limbic system and starts to affect your emotions, which can produce antidepressant-like behavior. All right. So what else? So peppermint. Peppermint is my favorite oil. It's my one that's always in my purse. I use it for everything. But in terms of using it for perimenopause and menopause, it's just a must. Get a spray bottle, fill it with distilled water. You may want to add a drop of coconut oil just to kind of prime the pump, so that way it kind of works easily. And then sometimes even a drop of witch hazel. It helps to disperse the oil a little bit easier and helps to make it stick a little bit easier. But you can get away with just distilled water and peppermint oil and use it when you're having those flashes. Just go ahead and spray it all over you. Peppermint is like a natural coolant, and I beyond swear by it. I had a woman once, I was at a vendor event, and I let her try it, and I put a couple sprays on her. And like 20 minutes later, from across the room, I hear her shouting my name. Oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever. She was feeling so cool, so wonderful. She went and bought a bottle right then and there to take it home. But I made a mistake. I didn't tell her that it's also a natural energy boost. So she was using it all night long, and then wrote me and said, "Oh my goodness, I'm up all night long. What did you give me?" And I, realized that, the peppermint, of course, was giving her this energy boost when she did not want it. So great for during the day. I don't love it so much at night, but you can use it. And if you want to combine it with an oil like lavender or cedarwood, which are good oils for sleeping, that may help to counterbalance that, and you can try that. A lot of women get migraines this time, or they have some stomach issues, and peppermint is great for supporting everyday head tension, the stress tension that we get. It's also good for healthy digestion. So it's a really great overall well-rounded oil. So a couple of other blends. I mentioned that sclereol content in the beginning and some blends that Gary Young put together, which is the sclerescence and the lady sclereol, which combines, the sclerescence combines phytoestrogenic oils like clary sage, peppermint, fennel, and sage. It's good for menopause and hysterectomy. And the lady sclereol has a wonderful fragrance. Kind of that floral kind of fragrance, aroma, and it's got a positive influence on low estrogen. It's a blend of rosewood, vetiver, geranium, ylang-ylang, jasmine. Oh, jasmine, I love jasmine and ylang-ylang, and more. Wonderful, wonderful oil. And then there's that Endoflex, which is in that hot flash protocol, which supports our overall endocrine function, our hormonal function. It's specifically recommended for thyroid and adrenal support. And most women do have adrenal issues. They definitely can't wait to do that topic, because that's a whole other thing. But a lot of women, a lot of their issues come from adrenal issues. So Endoflex can help with that. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Thanks for hanging in there. A lot of information. I know it's a little overwhelming. Hopefully you'll have this video to go back to. But Young Living also carries a whole supplement line. And I mentioned that their oils they infuse their oils into all their products, which includes their supplements. And most people, when they are using supplements, they think they've got these high quality supplements and they're doing all these great things for their body. But the truth is, most of those supplements and vitamins are not even being absorbed into their bloodstream. They're just peeing them out. And if your blood, and a good quality supplement like Young Living infused with the oils makes it more bioavailable, more readily used, more absorbable. You are going to get the full benefit of not only the oil, but the supplement as well. So there's a lot of, I'm only going to be talking about 2 right now, and I'll mention a few other ones just briefly by name, but the supplements are a whole other class as well. But I wanted people to know that if the oils themselves aren't working, sometimes the supplements are also needed. We really are, the food that we're using, that is in our world today, does not provide all of the nutrients that our body needs. So supplements are definitely needed. PD 8020 is a dietary supplement formulated to help maximize internal health and support the endocrine, the hormonal system. It contains pregnenolone, say that 10 times fast, pregnenolone, and DHEA, 2 substances produced naturally by the body that decline with age. Pregnenolone is the key precursor for body's production of estrogen, DHEA, and progesterone. And it will also have an impact on your mental acuity and your memory, so that brain fog. DHEA is also involved in maintaining a healthy cardiovascular, our heart, and our immune system. So that's one great supplement. And they also have a cream called Pregnenolone Plus Body Cream, which is specially formulated to support the hormonal system, the endocrine system, and maximize our internal health, getting our insides back to where they need, getting that flora where it needs to be, or the pH balance, all that great stuff. And Pregnenolone Plus contains pregnenolone, my mouth, and then MSM wolfberry, which is the ninja wolfberry, which is a high antioxidant superberry. And Young Living makes a wonderful high antioxidant drink that I just, without a doubt, think is most important for everybody to be drinking daily. And its superstar is that wolfberry, but I love the fact that it's in this body cream. Also, shea butter, aloe vera, vitamin A. There's that wild yam again, so that's got that progesterone boost. Clary sage, the estrogen, right there, that phytoestrogen. Geranium, fennel, sage, blue yarrow, bergamot, DHEA. And those are some substances that produce naturally by the body that will decline with age. So that cream is a great way. And I have not used the cream yet, but I do have some friends who do love it. So guess we got to put that one on the list too. The thing is, when you start to go chemical free, it just does not happen overnight. You know, it's a step-by-step process, starting, you know, with getting rid of the toxins in your home, and then starting to introduce new things slowly as, you know, you start to want to work on different systems of your body. So before I go into that, just real quickly, some other essential oil or supplements that Young Living has. They have a supplement called Endogize. They have a supplement called FemGen, which has that wild jam and Clary Sage in it again. And they also have a tincture, which is a liquid called Estro, which has got Clary Sage, fennel, and lavender. So they've really got a lot of things to support women's health in general. And Young Living essential oils can totally restore your body to optimal health, but just know that it is not that overnight fix. It will take committed use. But people have definitely used essential oils to successfully restore hormonal balance and proper function. You got to give it some time. You know, I tell people, you know, maybe a few days to a week to start feeling a little bit different, but really you need about 90 days to have it really start working properly with your system, to really give it a chance to see what it's going to do, to tweak it, to play around a little bit with the essential oils. And that's really, really important. And it kind of also will start maybe with getting those hormones tested. Where do you know, what is going on with your body? There are 3 different types of hormonal testing. There's the saliva testing, which is the most accurate, but it is expensive. So a lot of doctors don't give that one. They go with the blood testing, which the doctor's office can do. But just know that sometimes that the results of the testing is inconsistent, and especially if it's indicated in the low to normal range. And many women whose serum tested results are normal can't understand why they continue to experience some symptoms of hormonal balance. It's because that blood test wasn't exactly accurate. So just kind of put that in the back of your mind. And then there's something called FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone testing. Some other great resources for for using essential oils with your hormones is these 2 books that I love, and a lot of this information today came from these 2 books. The first one is Taming the Dragon Within, and How to Balance Women's Hormones with Essential Oils, written by 2 chiropractors, and that is a great book about hormones in general, and then where to start. And again, a lot of that information I got from there. And then Lucy Libido says there's an oil for that. And that's about using the oils in the bedroom for things like low libido and so forth. And that's a really fun book. And she gives a lot of great information in those books as well. And for anybody who gets started with Young Living and decides to go ahead and join my Young Living Essential Oils team, so that would be any member who's of my team or myself, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you your choice of either one of those books when you get a premium starter kit, and we will send you one of those books of your choice to get started with. All right. And then another thing that you may want to start with, is another good place to start when trying to figure out what's going on with your body and where to, is using a Zyto or an iTovi scan. And what that is a little scan of your body using biofeedback, and then it actually spits out specifically what essential oils your body is need, what's going on with your body in real time, and what you need. A lot of times we say, oh, I need to work on weight, but the truth is that's actually a symptom of having thyroid issues, and really we need to address those thyroid issues before we address the weight. Or when you address the thyroid issues, the weight issue goes away. And a couple of the girls on my Oils 365 team on the Treasure Coast here in Florida do have those scans, and they do them for a minimal charge. So if you do live on the Treasure Coast and want to get an iTovi scan, I have some people I can hook you up with to do that. All right. All right, I'm just going to briefly go into how to get started with Young Living Essential Oils, and then you can get back together with the person who invited you to this class, and they can go into a little bit more details and so forth about getting started with Young Living. And The first thing I do want to say is there may be people on this who are watching this video who are not a member of my team, or I did not invite them, or they're not a member of Oils 365. That is the wonderful thing about being a part of Team Young Living. We all support one another. We all love to educate, and that is my favorite thing in the world to do, is educate and empower people in their health and well-being. So I definitely share all of my materials with all teams and all people in Young Living. Now, some of the specials and things we offer are just for our team, but please, no matter what, I will send you back to your person who invited you to this class if you come to me. It is really important. Everybody is knowledgeable. Everybody has great support systems. So please, if somebody else has invited you to this class, go back to them when it comes time to get started with Young Living. If you found this class by accident, or you don't know how you found this class, then of course I'm happy to help you. But I just want to make that disclaimer very, very clear. So real quickly, there are two ways to get started with Young Living essential oils: retail and wholesale. Now, I hope by now you kind of have seen the what it takes to make this work. And I hope by now you're feeling, yes, I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to commit to my whole health, to making these changes, to not just putting Band-Aids on, to addressing the chemicals in my home and that are in my body. And although you absolutely can buy a retail membership, you can buy whatever oil you want, 1 oil, 2 oils, and start using them and pay full price. You absolutely can start that way. I hope that you see the benefit of perhaps what a wholesale membership will offer to you in the long haul in terms of helping you and your family. So when you get started with Young Living with a wholesale membership, there's 2 ways to do that, either with a basic kit or a premium starter kit. The basic kit pretty much it gives you your membership, and it gives you 1 oil, Stress Away oil, and it gives you the ability to purchase any other oils at the wholesale price. The wholesale price is 24% off retail for the rest of your life. There is no monthly requirement, although they do have a wonderful, wonderful monthly essential rewards program that if you are trying to get the toxins out of your body and home, I strongly suggest you be on, and that person can talk to you a little bit more about that program. But you do not have to be a part of that program. All you have to do is order $50 within the calendar year to keep that 24% wholesale membership up. But how I really feel strongly about is getting a premium starter kit. That is really the best way to start with Young Living essential oils. When you purchase a Young Living premium starter kit, you not only get the wholesale membership and get that 1 little Stress Away oil, but you also get the 10 everyday essential oils. Those oils are, let me see if I can do them. They're lavender, lemon, peppermint, something called copaiba, RC, thieves, purification, digees, frankincense, so Panaway. Lots of wonderful, wonderful oils. All of the oils that you would really ever need to get started in switching over to a healthy home. And then this is really why I highly recommend the premium starter kit. They give you a choice of one of the 4 those diffusers that I mentioned earlier. And I just think it's so important to start off with a diffuser. So you certainly can buy a basic kit and then add on a diffuser and add on oils. But once you start doing it and you see the awesome deal that the premium starter kit has to offer, and it ends up being half the full price of retail, it really ends up being worth it. And when you have a wholesale membership in either basic and or premium starter kit, we do not leave you hanging. Okay, we do not just sell you an oil, sell you a premium starter kit, and then leave you to figure it out yourself. I always say, oils are not like buying a purse or buying a lipstick. You know what to do with those. But most people need to be taught and educated and shown and supported and reminded to use their essential oils in the beginning. So when you get started with any Young Living member, but especially our team Oils 365 I'm talking about, you get a full team of men and women who are there to support you both online and offline. We have special Facebook support groups. I do online classes on all different topics. We have a special website. We have rallies during the year where we get together with our larger team. This weekend we're having a team party, so it's not only just educational, but it's fun, and it's really a community of like-minded people who just love on each other and just love our oils. And as I said earlier, we talk 24/7, 365, because who doesn't want to talk about getting healthy? So that's all I have for tonight. I'm going to wrap things up here. Again, please, whoever recommended this class to you, please go back to them to get started with Young Living. And I really do hope that you all go back and watch this video, do some research, and then join us on this oily journey. I hope that you got some great information and that you all have a wonderful night, and that I just wish everybody a happy, healthy perimenopause and menopause, and that we all survive it healthy and empowered and feeling awesome. Have a great night, everybody, and see you next time.